All right, all right. Welcome everybody to the Friday evening Zoom call. My name is Christopher Kim. I'm a national director here at Riman. And wherever you guys are plugging in all over the world, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. I am dialing in from Southern California Pacific Standard Time. It is July 17th, 6:01 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, for those of you that are here in the chat box, let me know where you guys are. Let me give you guys a shout out before we get this thing kicked off. We are super excited. We got some announcements ready for you guys, and we have the highly anticipated interview with Senior Director Miss Breanna Michel following suit. We have an amazing jam-packed training for you guys. All right, Boston, Massachusetts. What's up? Myrtle Beach. We got a bunch of people onboarding as we go. Would like to give a shout out to everybody. All right. Oh, we got people in Malaysia, Jerry and Jane. I see you guys are creeping up to director. You guys are killing it. All right, Manila, Las Vegas, OC, San Juan, Puerto Rico. What's up, my people? All right. So let's get this call started. We are super excited. We're going to go dive straight into the announcements. Let me see. We're diving into the announcements. Start official announcements. All right, so as we kick this Friday call off, I'm going to be covering the Riman retreat and the travel point system. One thing I want to touch upon is myself, Miss Breanna Michel, a lot of the directors, team leaders, even senior managers, high achieving leaders in the company. We just got back from Costa Rica. We had an amazing time. And, we always go through this, like state of chaos in our minds, right? Like we don't want to leave because we're still running business, but then, the FOMO is there, you go, and then you don't know what to expect, you go. And then it was everything and more that you thought of. And then, the food, the atmosphere, just the memories, and then the team building and the bonding. And then you start to realize that this is a curriculum in your business that is absolutely mandatory and needed and plays the glue in your business. This is absolutely a part of the system. So today, we're going to cover a little bit about the Riman retreats, go over some schedules and announcements, and then we will jump into our interview. All right, for those of you that are building teams in the Asia Pacific region, or if you are a planner in the Asia Pacific region, you guys will be making your way for the Riman retreats to Phuket, Thailand. Obviously, Thailand is an iconic place. It needs no introduction. It is a place where most people dream of going, getting those amazing massages, eating those sweet mangoes and the sticky rice. Can't wait to see you guys all there. And for those of you that are actually participating in North America, Canada, and Mexico, you will be heading over to the Bahamas in spring 2027. So, when you think about the Bahamas, when the Bahamas is discussed, we often think about Atlantis, right? But the reality of the matter is Atlantis is over 25 years old, and we found out there is a brand new resort called the Baha Mar that directly rivals the Atlantis, and it is a new property, and we will be heading over there. So for those of you that are from North America, Canada, and Mexico, we will see you in the Bahamas for spring 2027. All right. And for those of you that have teams, or if you are a planner in the Europe markets, whether you're from the UK, Spain, Ireland, Germany, France, Romania, all these countries are opening. And if you have any participation there, if you are from there, for your Riman retreats, you will be headed to the country of Monaco, where millionaires are considered poor. This is the town of billionaires. All right. Now, so these are the qualifications. There's four tiers, 1,000 travel points, get you into tier one for a trip for one, 1,500 travel points, get you in for tier two for a trip for one, and a $500 airfare reimbursement, and 2,500 travel points for tier three for a trip for two with $1,000 reimbursement, and 3,000 travel points for tier four for trip for two and a $2,000 reimbursement. Now, for those of you that are curious, how do you actually earn the travel points? It's very simple. Just do the already required money-making activities in the compensation plan. So pretty much, if you're growing in this business, you're accruing travel points by default because the travel points are all tied to the proper money-making activities in the business. All right, so here are the rules as follows. Retail customer orders. For every 100 SP that you do, you're going to acquire one travel point, and it's going to be a maximum of 5 travel points per order. Obviously, monthly performance. If you are a team leader or a director, please pay attention. For every 10,000, remember, for every 10,000 achieved, you're going to get 40 travel points. So if you do an additional 20,000, you're going to get another 40. If you get to 30,000, you're going to get another 40. So that which would yield you probably 120 travel points. Same thing as director. To maintain director qualification, you need 100,000 SP. Just by doing that, you every month you will get 100 travel points, and for every additional 100,000 you do, you will receive an additional 100 travel points as stated. Now, special promotions, man, this is awesome. You know, the best way I could explain it is like last month, the last few days of the month, we had travel promotions for people that bought packages, and you had a 2x and a 3x. These are those additional travel point promos that we're doing throughout the year, maybe through convention packages, special promotions. Look out for these because these are going to pop up like Easter eggs and special events. All right. Now, for those of you that get to rank advance in the compensation plan, if you get to manager, you will achieve 20 travel points. Senior manager, 50 travel points. Team leader, 200 travel points. Director, 500 travel points. Senior director, 750 travel points, and national director 1,000 travel points. Obviously, our compensation plan is based upon being a senior manager factory. What you do now and how fast you could promote to senior manager is going to dictate your journey to national director. So for a leadership bonus, as a leadership 30 travel point bonus, when you sponsor somebody frontline and you help that planner become a senior manager, you will be rewarded 30 travel points. And for every time you do it, you will get 30 travel points. All right. Now, let's talk about Global Director Riman Retreats. As you know, we have been promoting Dubai, which is a bucket list country for most of you. But given the circumstances of the Iran war and the prolonged war, I believe the destination will be changed, and it will be announced at convention at the MGM Grand. Obviously, Dubai sits in the Strait of Hormuz, where the controversial battle is happening, the war. And so, it's just probably, looking at it right now, we need time to plan. And, given the circumstance that things are going to be prolonged, I did receive word that Korea HQ, US HQ are collaborating and working on a new luxury destination. So the new director destination will be announced at convention. We are excited, so stay tuned for that as well. And as we, end our summer season, as we slowly inch our way back into getting back into the school season, back to school, shopping for the kids. Right before we start that, as we go into the fall, as we put the summertime to a close, August 7th through the 9th, we will be commencing our Riman North America Convention in Viva Las Vegas, baby, at the MGM Grand. We will see you there. All right, so for 2026 Riman Convention, it is August 7th through the 9th. Like I had said, at the iconic MGM Grand Las Vegas. A lot of amazing things happen here. You want to be here. It's worth coming here. Las Vegas is, naturally a fun place. You could bond with your team, build memories, and if you get lucky, maybe even win the jackpot, right? So who knows? Last convention, I've been in this industry 20 years, and there was a convention where we did our convention in Las Vegas, and a planner that happened to not have any results in the business just came to their first convention and won a $10 million jackpot. This is a true story. Me and Tim Hurst saw this with our own eyes, and it just magical things can happen. You just never know, right? But also success can happen to you too. All right, so we are at the last stretch. I believe we're about 2.5 weeks out. We have about maybe 20 days till convention. Now through the event, a single ticket is $169. Scan your QR codes here for those of you that have not gotten your tickets. Now, for the month of July, we have a special senior manager bonus. For new planners starting in July, you have a chance to attain your first Fast Start bonus of $300 cash. So any planner with an enrollment date in the month of July who achieves senior manager within 30 days of enrollment will earn their $300 cash bonus. And the sponsor has a chance to win too. This is help get others get what they want, and you can have everything you want. So sponsors, If you frontline and sponsor a brand new planner, when you help your new July planner achieve senior manager within 30 days of their enrollment date, the sponsor will earn an additional, aside from the frontline, $200 in cash as a sponsor bonus. So here's how you qualify. The brand new person must start in the month of July, must have a July start date. They must achieve senior manager 30 days from the enrollment date. So this is not a month to month. They are honoring your start date and 30 days from the day you enrolled. Earn your 300 USD fast start bonus, and the sponsor will earn a 200 USD bonus for doing so and supporting. All right, so for those of you that are in the Asia region or have teams in APAC, Asia Pacific, we also have a special promotion for promoting new senior manager qualifications, like we always preach. Okay, this compensation plan, if you pay close attention, and we always say comp plan drives behavior. So if you're looking at our compensation plan, the meat of the move, the most important part is planner to senior manager, how fast you can do it and how fast you could replicate it. And from planner to senior manager, if you could master that, you will become a team leader. If you could master that, you will become a director, and so on and so forth. The building blocks and growth of this compensation plan is all about how many senior managers you can make, because senior managers are pretty much like baby team leaders, right? So in the Asia Pacific region, if you are a sponsor and you sponsor somebody frontline and you help them become a senior manager, you're going to get $500 cash bonus for every frontline qualified new senior manager that you create. That's correct. So if you frontline 5 people, help all 5 people do it, you will be walking away with 2,500 US dollars cash bonus. All right. So senior manager bonus, let's launch strong, run fast, rank fast, and earn together. All right. So let's jump into the schedule announcements. So for the Saturday schedule, we all know it is Mandarin Saturday. So for those of you that have people in Taiwan, Hong Kong, even Malaysia, and Greater China, we will be commencing our Team 1% training translated in Mandarin. And following suit at 7 p.m., we have Mr. Jackie Wu, top producing director, commencing our Riman revealed opportunity call in Mandarin. We have a lot of participation. So if you are looking to expand your business and you have prospects that speak Mandarin, this is the perfect event to get started. Now, obviously on Monday is the kickoff of the week, and we like to start our mornings fresh, nice, and crisp with a clean mind. And we have team leader and above leadership training with Mr. Danny Bay. Once in a while, Mr. Tim Her also tag teams in. And these two duos are amazing, given their experience, their foresight, their ability to navigate and train. These gentlemen have an uncanny skill of training planners. So for those of you that are team leaders and above, make sure you plug in. There is a saying in our industry, when you're cold, get closer to the fire. All right. So also on Mondays, which is July 20th, we also have the Riman Reveal presentation in Espanol, brought to you by the Latam market. So this will be commencing at 7 p.m. CDMX time. We will see you guys there. And also for the North America market, we have the Monday Riman Company overview brought to you by the beautiful director, Ms. Christy Belliston. She is going to be laying it down, giving you the 411 and the basics of this amazing opportunity. Also on Tuesday, we have our signature HQ Riman North America orientation. And this week we have a roster of Team 1% members. We have a packed powerhouse. We have Susan Manuelo, Linda Hernandez, Yvonne Duon, Leah Lavoie, and Mr. Julian Doan. We have some of the most talented speakers. Let's make sure we get our new planners on for training. Also on Tuesday, the Riman Revealed European call will commence 6:30 p.m. European time, UK time, and 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with UK founding director Lee Ju Thomas and our brand new sales and field development manager, Miss Haley Robinson. Miss Haley Robinson is a veteran in our industry. She has countless experience in skincare and makeup, and we are absolutely excited for her to serve the field. All right, on Wednesday, as you know, as we had announced, we have our Riman Product University brought to you by the wonderful Miss Angelina Troilo. Riman 101 content will be Boda Lab line by product. So she's going to be going over every single Boda Lab product and explaining the function and what it is. And also we have Wednesday, Riman Tap In Training. We have the wonderful, we call her Goldie Glam Girl. Most of you know her as top producing director, Miss Abigail Meister. She is a leader. She is a powerhouse, and she will be doing a special training on how top producers engineer their energy and make their schedule make it jam packed. Remember, when we got on the last Monday training call, Mr. Tim Herr and Danny Bate touched upon how they absolutely have to fill their schedule, right? This is the same thing. There is a science to the method, and Miss Abigail Meister will be going over this. Also on Wednesday, July 22nd at 7 p.m. CDMX time, we also have the Riman orientation brought to you in Espanol, Spanish. So it is the perfect opportunity to get new planners that speak Spanish on this Zoom call. Also on Thursday, as you know, we have our Riman Revealed Opportunity Call brought to you by North America HQ. We have the fabulous director, Ms. Leah Lavoie, conducting the opportunity, and we have Georgette Elliott doing her product testimonial. All right. And on Thursday, as you know, we have the European orientation call commenced by the UK team. We will have Miss Haley Robinson. She is, like I had introduced, sales and field development manager. And we have the top producing team leader out of the UK, Miss Shrimi Van Rossum. She is an absolute sweetheart. She's here to serve everybody. She's also running her own women's power leadership podcast. When you have a chance, please check that out. We have a lot of amazing content and a lot of great training coming your way. And also on Thursday, this needs no introduction. If you are from the SoCal market, if you are near Irvine, again, if you are cold, be close to the fire. We are running our Riman University 12-week curricular system to director. So every Thursday at the House of Riman in person, every Thursday we will be doing our master class. 6 p.m. you get to come and do your personal K pop-ups, do your prospecting. 6:15 registration opens, and 7 p.m. overview and Riman University will commence at the House of Riman in Irvine. All right, now here's a special treat for everybody coming your way. Hold on, just give me 1 second. What happened here? All right. Let me see. What happened here? My screen got paused. Hold on. What is happening? Hold on. Let's see what happened. All right. So, okay. Let me stop sharing real quick. Let me reload this so there's no confusion. But we have actually a special treat for you guys. So next Friday, we have Team DBK and Team 1% collaboration, and we will be interviewing the first female national director of United States of America, Miss Karen Kang. She's a special individual. She is a founding distributor. When Riman wasn't here, they didn't have their building. They didn't have that glamorous flex. This person saw the vision with the product and ran. And today she became a national director, and she's doing it part-time. Can you imagine a female national director clearing big income part-time? That in itself is the true American dream story. So with that said, we reached out to Miss Karen Kang, and she graciously agreed to do a Friday night Zoom interview live with us. So next week we will be having Team DBK and Team 1% collaboration. I believe the lines will be getting filled. So let's make sure we support, promote, and get on early. Okay. So with that said, here is the main event. The next individual I want to introduce, she actually needs no introduction. I'll be willing to bet she'll be the next national director in our organization. She is a woman of posture, a woman of integrity, a woman of detail, but also she leads from the front. We've seen her countless times training at the North America Convention. She is a globetrotter, and she is an experienced, seasoned leader. So without further ado, please help me welcome the wonderful Breanna Michels, top producing director. Thank you for your time, and welcome to the call, Miss Michels. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Let me get you pinned. So we've been doing this little relay of our directors and senior directors, and this has been going well. We've started off with some trainings, but we kicked it off with Christy Bellis, and we're doing these interviews and insights we wanted to focus especially on some female leaders in the beginning because this is makeup and skincare, and we felt like a lot of the audience could relate to you and your story. So we just wanted to bring you here tonight and have you share your story, share your insight, what you learned along the way. So with that said, Miss Breanna Michaels, welcome to the call. Feel free to say hi, introduce yourself, and let's get this kicked off.
Well, hi. Did anybody else wear their PJs to the call like I did? We are living lake life right now, and so, everything just kind of take it chill.
Yes.
And so excited to be here, spend a few minutes with you guys. We're normally in Houston, Texas, but it is sweltering there, and it's actually really hot here too, but we're currently in Missouri, and yeah, excited to kick this off.
Well, Miss Breanna Michaels, everybody knows the name Senior Director Breanna Michaels, but let's let the audience know who you really are. Tell us your story. Like, what did you do prior to this industry? We want to hear your story, like your upbringing, like we want to get to know you. Tell us your story.
Okay. Oh wow, you just sent me like way far back, but I think I've just always been really shy and but I've always kind of gravitated towards sales. So I remember my first job was as a telemarketer. And no, I take that back. My first job was at Sonic when I spilled a Coke all over this woman's car and she started screaming at me because I tried to wear roller skates. And so, yeah, that was a bad idea. And then my next job was a telemarketer. And the people that I talked to didn't believe that I was actually a telemarketer for whatever reason. And
Yeah,
then
you're calling.
yeah, I had a headset on. I was calling and dialing for dollars and then my next job was at Cutco and that was amazing. And I guess I just really like sales. I just kept gravitating towards it. And then I did work as an event coordinator. I'm really grateful for that job because I was super shy, even though, I like sales, I like marketing. I actually wanted to major in marketing in college, but I saw there was a public speaking requirement to do that. And so I literally switched my major to business because I was like, there's no way I'm doing this public speaking class. Like, you cannot
And
pay
here
me.
you are, public speaking.
I know. Go figure. I know God has other plans, guys. Don't put God in a box. And so I was majored in business and then I worked at an event coordinator for a university and I was like waiting for the event to start and I would coordinate these massive campus events where like thousands of people would come and I was like waiting for it to start and my boss told me that I needed to go get on stage and welcome everybody to the event and I said, "Oh, I said I don't do that." And she goes, "You will do that because that's your job. So get up there." And I was just like terrified. I mean, talk about like I felt like I was going to throw up, pass out, sweat through my clothes, everything at the same time. I feel like I blacked out up there because I had to go up on a stage. And um, it was terrible. I mean, I could barely get my words out. And so she called me into her office on Monday morning and she said, "Bree, you're really bad at public speaking." And I said, "I know." I said, "I'm glad that we agree and I should never do this again. Like, you need to have somebody else run these." And she goes, "No, we're going to work on it." And she made me stand up in her office and she made me say my name over and over and over again until I got it right, until it was like less squeaky and, pathetic sounding. And at the time, I was like really pissed at her. I was like, "Why is she making me do this? Like, this is not fair. I don't like this. This is not me." And I will be forever grateful. I should track her down, to be honest with
She
you,
made
because
you break out of your shell, huh? That's what she did.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like we tell ourselves these lies. I think they're from the enemy, Satan wants to tell us terrible things about ourselves. And I told myself that I wasn't good at that and I could never be good at that. And I wasn't like deserving to speak in front of people and just all the negative self-talk. And so uh, I'm so grateful. I'm going to track her down. I'm going to say thank you.
I have
And
a question.
mhm,
So during these times, the way I can describe it from like my point of view, at an early age, you took on failing forward. You
Hmm.
literally took on failing forward without understanding you're doing that, right? But while you took on all these challenges, when you look back, what is the common denominator that probably kept you going? Because, some people quit, some people get discouraged, people have different levels of pain thresholds. I believe yours is pretty high just naturally. But
Hmm.
what was the common denominator? Whether it was spilling a Coke or you couldn't do public speaking, what was it in you that forced you to keep going? What was it? Because other people need to find this, and
Yeah,
I think that's very important.
that's such a good question. Honestly, I think I'm just stubborn. Like I
Stubborn.
would I would rather say that I tried and I failed than I didn't try at all. Like I think it's worse for me. N Okay, like even today, we just got back from a theme. It's Silver Dollar City. It's a theme park, and I didn't ride the roller coaster, and it's driving me nuts. Like we're gonna have to go back, and so I can ride that stupid roller coaster because I got out at the last minute because like I didn't like the straps. Like it was just around the waist. Like I thought it was going to be around the chest. And so I got off screaming at the last minute. I'm not joking. I was like, "Get me out of this thing." But I'm so mad that I didn't do it. So now I have to go back and I have to ride this friggin' roller coaster. I don't know what that is. I don't know what makes me do that. I think fear makes me really angry at, I'm very faith-based if you can't tell, but it makes me angry because I feel like Satan tries to hold us back through fear. And so
Yep.
that just gets under my skin. So
Satan's greatest weapon is deception. That's the
yeah.
one tool he has, and he uses it to always, discourage us and things like that. But man, I think you were born for this. I think you were made for this. I think you were made for this. Just hearing your story, just the willingness to not give up. That's hard to do to begin with. Okay, so, at
But
what
hold
age?
on, can I follow that up with like
Yeah.
it's everybody's gonna fall. Just the question is how long you're going to stay there. Like
Ooh,
sometimes you have to take a beat and like you have to take a minute and regroup. And I don't always like get back on the horse the next day, but it's just you're going to fall, but just don't let yourself stay there. Like scream, cry, get it out, take the time you need, but then
that is
get back up.
important. Yes. You know, I can relate with that because, during my music career,
Hmm.
there was a time where I had to truly accept it's all over. And
Hmm.
I needed to get it out of my system. And I think that burning pain is what mentally checked me out and wanted to just go back to the United States the next day, like leave everything behind and just go. And that's what I did. And then a week, like literally 2 weeks later, I found network marketing. Like, talk
Hmm.
about fate, right? So I believe certain people that are destined to do certain things, one way or another, it'll find its way to you, right? So my question to you is, probably at an early age, you've took on sales and you took on a lot of things, the challenge, because maybe the thrill or maybe the OCD part where you just have to get it done. But let me ask you this: when did you actually find direct sales? You did mention Cutco, but like, what was like the actual company or like the actual point in your life where, it wasn't just a should I try it, but it became something more serious? When was that?
Is Cutco network marketing?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that till now.
It's direct sales,
Are
but
you
it's more
serious?
it's more product driven sales than recruiting, but you do recruit. It is absolutely like Avon and Mary Kay. And
Mind is blown.
I bought the entire set because number one, I support our industry and people that make money off of this stuff, right? Like I support them. They're a colleague, right? Number two, Cutco knives are the best in the world. Like I can attest to that. Like they are the
Oh, totally.
yeah.
I yeah,
I still have it in my kitchen right now. I cook with
I
Cutco.
do too.
Yeah, that's all I use.
But obviously they did not train me very well because I didn't they just taught me to go sell. I was 18, like I didn't know. I literally
Man, you
just
were
turned 18.
destined for this, dude. Breanna, you were destined for directors. But let me ask you, like,
Wow, they recruited me without me even knowing. That's crazy. I literally thought I was applying for this job. Like I went in like either I'm gonna get hired. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
yeah, Cutco is actually a direct selling company, but Now that we got that out the way, you didn't know Cutco was a deal, but like
No,
what was your first network marketing experience? How did you find it? Let's walk through that.
apparently it was Cutco. Well, my first one, well, let me talk about the first one that I took seriously because I remember doing like helping my parents sell coffee. Remember Gano? I think that
God.
was the name of the company. But you know, I was so young, I wasn't taking it seriously. And um but I had a friend of mine, her mom had made like an insane amount of money in network marketing, like $100 million, something crazy. It was they were big with Amway. There was only like a handful of people that were at their rank. And she was the one that came to me and she said, Bree, you need to take a look at this. And so the first, are we saying company names? But the first company I was with, it was Nerium, so it was skincare. And um, and I remembered like just hearing it from her, like I had so much respect for her. And I was like, oh yeah, of course I'll sign up if you're telling me I need to sign up. And then my box came and I was like, getting buyer's remorse. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I should send it back. And I talked to my husband. He's like, yeah, you should probably send it back. Like, you're probably not very good at this. And now he's my biggest cheerleader. Like, I have to follow it up with that. But so I went to the meeting and I was going to tell her that I was going to send the box back. Like, I was really worried about what people were going to think and how I was going to do. And again, that whole fear of failure thing.
Yeah.
And she literally cut me off and she was like, Bree, if you could see yourself where I see you a year from now, you wouldn't be doing this. And it was the conviction that she had, this just fire conviction. And she saw something in me before I did, but she gave me just that little bit of confidence to go home and just open the box. And then I started, playing with the product. And at the time, like, I spent like $500 on that box, which was like so much money at the
Yeah.
time. And so I was really scared of like losing that investment. But I opened it up and I started sharing and
Wait,
that was
let's go back to buyer's remorse because
yeah.
everybody goes through this, right? This is like the emotional roller coaster we always train on. Tell us your first buyer's remorse. Okay, you got excited, you signed up, and then the negative thoughts creep in. Walk us through that because everybody needs to hear this. And also for those of you that have been around for a while that onboard new people, remember, like facts tell, stories sell. You can relate. This is a normal process of the business, right? So what was your first buyer's remorse like? The fear. Explain to our viewers.
Yeah, I mean, it was the fear of I remember calling my mom and I was like, I don't know, I just spent $500. I was like panicking over this $500
We all
immediate
did.
buy
We all
remorse.
did.
And she, you know what she said to me, because I'll never forget this. She was like, Brianna, in the course of your lifetime, is $500 going to
Bingo. Bingo.
is it going to break you in the course of your lifetime? And I was like, well, no. And she's like, okay, then take a chance. And so that was, the best advice. Moms have the best advice
Well, it's
usually.
not losing 500, it's the fear of getting got. You know what I mean? It's the fear of
Yeah.
getting fooled or trampled on or like taken advantage of. Like that's the anger part. It ain't necessarily the $500, right? Because when we're all panicking or in emotional roller coaster, someone always has to bring us back, right? Hey, $500 is not going to end your life. It's something you could
Mhm.
take a bet on for yourself. Now, when you talked about maybe buyer's remorse and possibly refunding, I know your upline told you some things that you needed to hear, but also can you walk us through like your upline kept you in the game, but what was the first few things that you did as a leader or a planner that you felt yourself, okay, this is doable, I can do this. What like the turning point or the paradigm shift while you were negative, skeptical, and doubtful? What was the turning point for you? At what juncture in the beginning?
It was really just getting into activity. Like I specifically remember, um, I didn't know how to log into my a back office. Like I didn't not super I said not super detail oriented in the beginning. Like I just rather get into activity. Either I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. And so for us, like I got all these bottles, and so my activity was to and we would call them soldiers. Like we have to go get the soldiers out working for us. And so just getting them in people's hands. And I was like, hey, try this for 5 days, or maybe it was 7 days. It was 7 days back then. Try this for 7 days. I'll come back and I'll pick it up. And I just kept rinsing and repeating that. Try this for 7 days. I'll come back and I'll pick it up. And a lot of people loved the product. They saw, not everybody, but they saw great results. And then the other thing that we did is we just built party to party to party. That was a big party model company. And so we built into parties
Now,
nonstop, but it was just that activity. And then when I finally figured out how to log into my back office, I'll never forget.
finally, finally
I,
figured.
well, my, yeah, I didn't really have somebody showing me that kind of stuff.
This
But
is
when I finally got
ladies
into
and
my
gentlemen.
back office, I'll never forget. I literally started crying because I saw $800 sitting in my back office, and I about fell off my chair. I was crying. I just called my husband. I was like, "You're never gonna believe what I made." I mean,
Your first
it,
faith
it
check.
yeah,
Faith
my
check.
first big check. And I didn't even know it was back there. And then I had to figure out, how do you get this money out and how do you get it into your account? But I was so
Ain't that
happy.
exciting though?
Yeah, and I was so proud that I made my investment back. It was a really cool feeling.
And then from that point on, after that, it's like, how do I make more money here? Like, how do I do
Yeah,
this? Right?
yeah.
Now, here's another question I want to ask. Can you walk the audience through? Because, when I talk about you behind your back, I just say she's the master of creating momentum. Okay, she's just a master. She's got posture. She knows how to do it. Can you explain to the crowd, like, your first experience with the big mo, like real momentum, right? Like I've heard your story before you joined Riman. You had a big team, you were going out to Europe and things like that. And then I got to see firsthand what kind of momentum you brought here. But can you explain your first journey of seeing momentum in your team and the aha moment it brought you to?
Uh, yes, because, my first recruit was my mom, of course. And I have such an amazing mom. And we were like talking, we're like, what are we going to do with this? And we were like, we need to get in front of, because we felt like it was going to move quick. So it had just came to the Midwest, and just like, guys, K beauty in North America and around the globe is so untapped. Like it's so wide open.
Yeah.
And so we immediately went out and tried to talk and put samples out as many people as we could in our hometown. But I was in a small town. And so we were like, we need to get to another town over. And so we called my cousin, and my cousin is owns a real estate company, and we're like, look, you know people, and we'll come there, we'll do all the work, you put us in front of people, we'll get them in, we'll demo the product, and we'll put them underneath you since you introduced us, and you just collect a check. And so we just kept making that drive back and forth. We would drive over to Oklahoma City, and we kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And every time we went, like the meeting got a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And then eventually, my cousin bought a boat with the money that she earned from all the people that we kept meeting with in Oklahoma City. So it was just activity. Like that's where we felt the momentum. And then we had a loop. Like we would hit Tulsa, Oklahoma City, over to Memphis, back to Springfield, and we just, kept doing a loop.
Well, let me ask you something. Um, So would you say, in today's world, right? Like, social media influencer, that's great too. But when I look at your business, you've done extremely well belly to belly and you promote online. Can you tell us like what's the most important foundation of doing belly to belly and why that is so important?
Well, sales is all about the transfer of belief. And
Mhm.
so I feel like when you're with somebody, I just have an easier time of like reading somebody and playing and feeding that energy back and forth. I actually am not, I don't love social media. I just don't. I don't, it's like, I feel like it's like this big, you're putting yourself out into this big void, but there's like still a little bit of a fear there for me that I don't love. Um, So I actually prefer belly to belly, to be honest with you. And I know it's, social media is more scalable and I still show up on social media, but I just prefer in person,
Do
to
you
be
think?
honest.
Do you
Did I
think?
answer the question? I don't
Yeah.
even know.
Well, here's what I wanted to get at. Do you feel like the average woman or male, right? They don't have a lot of followers, right? But what would be the avenue for them to succeed here, even though they're not that savvy or, you know, big on social media?
Oh my
Because
gosh.
some people
There's
have
like
this
a
perception
hundred
that
ways.
they
Yeah.
they have they must have a lot of followers to succeed here. But I want you to
Oh,
clarify that for our listeners tonight.
there's so many different ways to do this business. Like you can do this cold market, warm market, online, offline, and I don't box yourself in. Like I remember in my previous company, it was very focused on social media. And I remember having a conversation with Ray Higdon, and he was like, you guys are leaving out 50% of the population who don't want to be on social media. And that was like a light bulb moment. And I was like, why
Aha
are we
moment.
trying to turn everybody into an influencer? Like, not everybody wants to do that. And so, you can grow this business through K pop ups, through try me bags, through samples, through you know what the best way to grow this business is to like pick up the phone and dial somebody's number. That's how I launched here is I was probably on the phone for hours at a time, just trying to talk to people. And so I kind of feel like when everybody's over here doing this, you know, I like to be over here doing what not everyone else is doing. So
Yes.
I feel like social media, I'm going to put it this way. Like, I feel like social media is the icing on top where it, you should still have your baseline activities, which is
Yes.
reaching out and connecting with people personally. And then social media is just the icing on top, and what comes from it is what comes from it.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. Now let me switch gears a little bit. Here's another thing I want to ask you because I know a lot of especially females, young moms or people that are doing this on the side, they aspire to be like you, travel, globetrot, build international business. Can you take our listeners on a little trip down memory lane on your first international breakthrough, what that looks like, how it happened? When I first met you, you were coming in and out of France. You had some activities
Oh, yeah.
and then over here in Riman, we've done some Asia tours. You're still actively, working on some Asia projects as we speak. Can you, because when we talk about Asia or like international expansion, the average person starting out, they feel intimidated or they feel like they have to become a senior director, Breanna Michaels first. But that's not really the case, right? It's more like take on the challenge, figure it out as you go. But can you walk our audience through your first international experience, like the fear, the excitement, like, taking that step into the unknown, like walk them through
Mhm.
that. Because at some point in your career, ladies and gentlemen, when you do hit momentum, you will come onto this crossroad, right? So share
Mhm.
with us what that's like, because you've done it countless times. And, I think your point of view would be much more relatable to the audience.
Um, that's so funny. So the connection that I made when I built into Europe, my first international,
Ladies
was
and gentlemen,
through,
pay attention. Pay attention to what she says because this happens all the time. I already know.
well, it was through Instagram. I have to say, like, and I'm like, well, I prefer belly to belly, um, but I have to say, like, yes, the connection came through Instagram, but it was through like I immediately was like, let's jump on a Zoom, which I feel like is that belly to belly. Like even though you're not, I mean, I couldn't be next to her. She was in the UK, but I immediately was like, let's get on a Zoom. Like let's talk. And when people are ready, like I think when somebody is ready, if you talk to them within 3 minutes of them being in that mindset where they're open,
Mhm.
you increase your chance of making the sale by over 300%. It's like 389%, something crazy. So like if somebody's ready, like get on the phone, get on a Zoom, have a conversation, make the sale, close the sale. And so when I got on the Zoom with her, then I just do what I normally do. Like just because she's in the UK doesn't mean I didn't treat it like she was in Texas or Missouri, but
Exactly.
I just was like, okay, I'm going to get her the information that she needs. I'm going to find out what's important to her, and then I'm going to figure out who she knows. Well, through that conversation, she led me to this girl, Regina, and Regina lived in the Netherlands, and she's such a fantastic human being. And I love the Dutch. They are so fantastic. And so that led me to the Netherlands, which ended up leading us. You don't get anywhere about on your own, but we ended up growing one of the fastest growing teams in Europe that way. And it was just through like a conversation on a message
One
on Instagram.
connection.
Yeah,
One connection.
one
Uh,
connection. But I got in front of her. You gotta make that move to get in front of them, and then you have to figure out who they know because
I
everybody
think
knows.
this right here is the saying in our industry, 90% of success is showing up, right? You just showed up,
Mhm.
you initiate and showed up, and then you let the chips fall where they may. In the comment section, we have Miss Michelle Kenny. What she said is, what I'm leading is that if you explore outside your comfort zone, you grow. That is absolutely true because Jim Rohn says, do the uncomfortable till it becomes the comfortable. And Mrs. Brianna Michaels is talking about is she did everything out of her comfort zone, right? Knowing that she's going to be able to yield something, right? And that is the key. It is doing stuff out of your comfort zone till it becomes the comfortable because that is where you yield the most success, right? So let me ask you this. Now, what was your first international journey like? Because everybody's scared. We teach think global and build local, right? And we start off with a local contact here, right? Like let's look at like me and Tim's dynamic, right? Like Tim knew that MLM is big in South Korea and he wanted to get over there because he understood Korean culture at an early age because he grew up in Orange County, right? But he knew he's not going to be the one to learn the language and go there, right? So what did he do? He started scouting Korean Americans. And then that's how he found Danny, myself, and other people like that, right? So can you please share with the audience? It's not about just having a lot of money and going there, but how did you network in a very clever, smart way to maximize your time and pull business out of there? So like, what was it? Did you treat it like, what was like the mindset with that?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I'm having to think back. What do we do? I mean, I got them plugged into the system like we normally would, except not everybody spoke English, so that was a little bit harder, but because we had some people who spoke Dutch and Swedish, and so luckily we just duplicated the system. So we duplicated the onboarding system, and then luckily, one of the people there, they spoke English and the language, so they were able to translate some of it. But I think it was like a year, 6 months to a year before I finally went over there. And then I kept saying, like, if you want to get people in a room, I'll come. But I like to travel. You guys, like, don't think that you have to travel to make this business work.
Correct.
But I wanted an excuse. I'd never been to the Netherlands. I'd never been to Belgium, and I had never been to Paris. And so we flew into, and like honestly, that trip, that first business trip, my mom and my sister came. We turned it into a reason to take a family trip to Paris, and then we took the train over to the Netherlands, and I did meetings there, and then we went to Belgium, and then I was supposed to go to Malta, but I ended up getting COVID. So they had a fantastic meeting, and I didn't even make it to the meeting, but they filled the room, and it was great. But um, yeah, so just I mean, the same system works no matter where you're at.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Brianna Michaels, what she is telling us is she was not an expert in international expansion.
No.
She took on the challenge, figured it out as she went, like all successful people do, right? She took on the challenge. I remember the call I got, Chris, oh my gosh, I'm getting activities in the Philippines. Should I go? What did I say to you? You need to go. Go
Yes.
now. You need to go to the Philippines.
And that was, you guys, Asia was scary for me. Like I had never been to Asia, had never even had it on my like foresight that I ever would go to Asia. And so that one was way scarier for me. I should probably talk about that because
But
Europe,
you
I was
did
like
it.
so excited to go, but Asia was terrifying because
Going to
it's
the
just a
unknown.
culture that I didn't know anything about. And I was scared of going by myself and I was like stalking, Julian and Yvonne. I'm like, what hotel are you staying at? Can I stay on the same floor? I mean, and I was so grateful that like Dr. Lynn Diaz, she was like, oh yeah, I'm coming, and Amber was like, yeah, I'm gonna come, and several people were just jumping on board to come, and that was amazing because you never know like how your yes can pave the way for other people to say yes. And of course Lynn was probably just looking for a reason to get back over to the Philippines, and she's like, okay, this is a sign, we're all going, and it was great. I was grateful she you know
Well, here's $1 million question I have for you regarding this. Okay. This is what I'm leading up to. Can you share with the audience, after your experience in international markets and building and meeting people from different places of the world, how did it expand your mindset? Like, leaders that do international, once they go through an international run and they experience all this, their mind expands, whether it's the leadership, the mindset, the vision casting, it all expands because you've traveled and seen the world. What did it do for you? And like that kind of experience, what will it do for a leader looking to break out of their shell?
well, one, oh, I get so mad when fear holds me back. And I was like, what was I afraid of Asia? Like they're people like us and it's just a culture, maybe like their food is different. I will say Asia does not like American breakfast. That was the biggest, that was the hardest part. I'm like, where's the bacon and the eggs? But I was like, why was I scared to come here? What did I think was going to happen? Just
Fear
because
of
it
the
was
unknown, just the fear of
yeah, fear
the
of
unknown.
the unknown. And so now it's like if Chris was like, "Hey, we're going to Asia. If we're going to, if Chris is like, "Hey, we're in. Let's go to Japan." I'd be like, "All right, are we going next week? When are we going?" I've never been to Japan, but I'm not scared of it anymore. And you know, it's the fear that really irritates me. And so I'm really glad I didn't let that hold me back. I felt like I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was.
Well, I think you're a true baddie. You're amazing. Just watching you in action. But in closing, I want to kind of rewind because I got so excited about your interview, but I missed one topic, and it was the importance of these Riman retreats. In
Oh
closing,
yeah.
I want you to share the importance of why a planner needs to go on these trips, like what you experience. And remember, one of the two, it's performance based, not rank based, right? So as long as you do the work, everybody can go. Tell us about your experience going to Costa Rica, maybe all the trips, why this is so important for team building and why you need to go.
Well, because I'll share with you what I believe to be the number one secret for top earners is that they get to a live event at least once a quarter. And because what happens is, I think I said it earlier, but sales is all about the transfer of belief. And so if your belief or your energy is low, you have to get to an event. Like you don't have a choice. And whether it be, a personal development event or a business event or, a retreat or an escape or something that's going to fill you back up because you come home and that energy is literally like a law of attraction. It's literally like it's beaming people in, it's attracting people to you. And so that is the number one tip that I can give you. And at a time in my life when I was going through a terrible time in my personal life and I was feeling like suffocating, like life was about to take me out, I knew that I had to get to an event. And, for me, that person for me was Tony Robbins and getting to his events because I knew that, I can be pitiful or I can be powerful, but I can't be both. So I have to choose. And if I'm
Wow.
going to be powerful, how do I take my power back? And it was through getting to his events and getting to his live events. And that's really how I got my life on track. But I was in like a pretty low place in life. Like I don't think you have to go spend a bunch of money to go to, actually you can do them online now and they're not near as expensive. But I'm not saying you have to get to a Tony Robbins event, but if you're feeling like things aren't coming together, you do need to get to an event. Find an event, and we do just happen to have Vegas around the corner, so it is good timing. You might want to come to that event because you never know when you're going to have a conversation in the hallway, or you're going to run into somebody in the bathroom and they're going to share just a tip with you that's going to be that light bulb moment. You just never know when you're going to have those. So you want to be in the room where the leaders are. And that's how you learn faster, is through that immersion. That's why, whenever Tony Robbins wants to learn something new, he will clear his schedule for 2 to 4 weeks and just completely immerse himself in it, because you learn that much faster when you do it that way. And you're going to cut your timetable. You're going to learn in one weekend what would take you 6 to 12 months to learn. Just get there. Just like rip the band-aid off and learn it.
Yeah. Though another thing I want to add on top of that is what you said was rip the band-aid and learn it, because once you learn it, there is nothing new to learn. You've already mastered it and you're just rinsing and repeating. So I
Well,
think that,
and
yeah,
that's why I said that you have to get to an event, because it's that energy, because success is 80% mindset and 20% skill. Once you learn it, like, you've
yep,
learned it. Now it's just a matter of keeping your
discipline.
mindset strong so that you can go out and do that transfer of belief.
Amazing. Well, I think we're running out of time, Miss Brianna Michaels. Thank you so much. In closing, if you wanted to give one last word of encouragement to the audience, what would that be? Where we are right now with convention and, with first movers advantage, still being early in the virgin markets of America. If there was one word of advice and wisdom you would like to give to our audience, what would that be?
Just that you have a choice. Every single day is a series of choices, and you can choose to wake up and you can choose to be happy, you can choose to be sad, you can choose to stay stuck, or you can choose to grow. Like, the choice is in your hands right now. And even if you're not making a choice, that's still a choice to not decide. And so I would just say, make the choice that is going to help you better your life. And with Vegas around the corner, make the choice to go. Like, some of you are sitting on the fence and y'all are going to get splinters in your butt if you stay there. So just get off the fence and come to Vegas with us.
Go, let's party in Vegas. Well, Miss Brianna Michaels, it was truly a blessing to interview you. I know the time was short, but we're always grateful to you. There's so many people in our company that look up to you. There's so many people after convention that talk about your training so many times about how powerful you are. And, just being able to interview you, it's another nice collection to the masterpiece we're doing for Team 1% and all these interviews. And we're going to be interviewing people from all walks of life, leadership, moms, mamapreneurs, side hustle, everybody. And we're going to be cataloging this so that everybody can see, whether you're a shark, urchin, whale, or a dolphin, every single person, as long as you put your mind to it, you can succeed. So with that said, Ms. Brianna Michaels, thank you so much for your precious time tonight. I know it's late. I hope you get to enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. God bless. We'll see you at the top. We'll see you in Vegas. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. Thank you, Miss Brianna. Have a great evening. Bye, everyone.